Um, real estate, real estate, real estate. And let me just give you like introduction or like a background of how we started. And imagine I have known more. I know more than what I knew when we started. I think we would have gone far. And the beauty of Village Square, because when we started, we didn't have Village Square, we didn't have information. But right now, you are getting information that from people that are doing it. And that's the beautiful part of it. When we started, when I came to this country in 2010, I was staying with people that believe that mortgage is a problem. That mortgage is something that will tie you down for the rest of your life. That mortgage is a taboo. And it's actually because of where we were coming from. Where we are coming from, we believe that it's a big problem. And the beauty, another thing that they were able to do successfully is they also televise it. Media, when we watch movies and we see people that they borrowed some money and the police or the bank will come, they will take their property and this and that when the person died. So that thing has actually registered to us, and we believe that loan is actually a problem. And we also understand in the Bible that it says that we shall never borrow. So those things are actually, have been registered. It doesn't mean that the Bible is not right. The Bible is right, because when you borrow, you become like a slave to the borrower. But there is what we call good debts and bad debts. And I remember there was a time we talked about this, and Vicky said something. He said, when Elisha went to the woman that was owing a man, and they were about to take the children, and he said, no, when he went to that man and he said, and Elisha asked for some, I think for, is it oil or something? And he said, I only have a little jar. And this is our plan, is to have this. And when we have this, the second day we are going to die. And Elisha, I'm not sure, maybe I'm mixing the two together. And he said that that he should go to our neighborhood. And he said, borrow not just a few. So in other words, the more she borrows, the more blessings she gets. And she got some of the jar, and all the jars were filled. Imagine she's going to borrow more. She would have got a lot. And that is what we call leverage. She was able to leverage, what other people had, and she was able to use it to get what she had. And this is very important. And we need to establish this, that there is what we call good debt and there is what we call bad debt. In bad debt is what you use, the debt that you get, and you use it for liability, something that is not yielding any cash flow or is not increasing in value. And good debt is what you borrow and you are using it to what can actually generate cash flow, or can increase your value, or can go to an asset that brings cash flow. And this is very, very important. So when you borrow to travel, when you borrow to buy clothes, then those are the challenge. When you borrow even to buy car, because most cars, very few cars are an asset. So if you buy Ferrari, fast cars, like what is it called, Rolls Royce, most of them, they don't depreciate in value. But if you buy other cars that are not vintage, most of them depreciate in value, and we need to understand that. So when you borrow to buy something that is not giving you cash flow, how would you service that loan? And that is what we need to understand. So I need to establish that first. And the second thing I need to talk about is when when I got to those when I came to the UK and I was mixed with those people, they will tell you that, oh, Do you plan to go back to Nigeria? If you get a mortgage, it will tie you down in this country. You will be able to go back to Nigeria. And those are the mindsets that was embedded in me. And it was actually registered in my subconscious until I got a new information that rubbed that. And that is why we need to come together and get information that can change our initial information. So, some people will tell you that he said it's difficult for you to bend, something that is a bone that is dry. So most times it's even easier when you don't know, or it's easier to teach young people. But when we become an adult, it's always very difficult. But we know that we have some adults that are willing to unlearn in order to learn. So I was also in that shoe, but I was privileged to unlearn in order to learn. And I met a guy in Niyi Sholademi. I think I will have to mention his name just to appreciate what he was able to do. And he said, Alpha, any challenge, any idea with buying property, this and that? And I remember my wife had some amount of money and she was thinking that maybe she should use it to pay her student loan. And I said, oh, instead of paying your student loan, the little information I've got, can we use it to buy property? And when we were looking for property, we couldn't find property that was actually in our budget. And we're like, what are we going to do? And this guy said something. He said, you don't wait to buy property. You buy property and wait. Wow. He said, well, as you are looking for your property, the ones that you like to live in, the one that you are comfortable with, why can't you buy something anyhow and wait? Then you can buy the ones that you really want. And I was like, what are you talking about, brother? He said, buy anyhow, buy anything. As in, just look for a good area anyway, but don't look for 3-bedroom, 4-bedroom if you cannot afford it. If it's 1-bedroom, buy it. And we were able to buy a 2-bedroom flat, not a house, 2-bedroom flat. And we bought it for 132,500 in 2014. We sold the property in 2018. The reason why we sold the property was because the property was a leasehold. And when a leasehold, when the year drops to less than 70, it loses its value, except you renew your lease. And that is why we're like, it's better for us to sell this flat and buy a house. We sold this flat in 2018, I think for £200,000. We bought it for 132,500. We put down 10%. We had 13,500. But because it's not interest only, it's repayment. We were able to pay, like, I think when we sold it, we paid the mortgage, the institution, I think 103,000 or thereabouts, and we're able to hold close to £90,000 on something that you invested 13,500 in 4 years. And we were living in that house, staying in that house. We're paying mortgage of 500 and something pound. And that is the power, of buying an asset. And when we got that money, we're able to buy the property we are living in, this and that, this and that. And due to that, we're able to get more experience, read more books. 2023, I'm now jumping. I just want that one is just like a background. But this is where we are going. In 2023, we were listening to Rich Dad, Poor Dad again. I've read the book, but myself and my wife, I said, I wanted to initiate my wife that you need to listen to this book. So we got it on Audible. She had it on Audible in her phone, Audible on my phone. Anytime we are traveling, I play it. Just keep listening, keep listening. And my wife said that is it not possible for us to also buy a house with none of our money? And I said, I'm happy that this is coming from you. Because initially my wife is a saver, but we've rubbed together. We are like the same now. So she was like, is it not possible for us to buy property with none of our money? And I said, it's possible. Let's start. When you listen to something often, when you find yourself in an environment whereby they talk about something positive, you keep seeing something positive. When you are in the midst of people that complain, you keep seeing complaints. That's why you need to be careful of your association. When we agreed that we are going to do this, we started looking for a property. Then we saw a property, and I'm going to show you live, all the documentation. And I want you to see the possibility. When we agreed that we are going to buy a house with none of our money, that was when things started happening. And that is the power of mind. Today, someone came to the church, a visiting pastor, and he talked about the power of imagination. And he talked about Genesis, I think is it 26? Where those people, they came together, they were in one accord, and they were in one accord, and they were building a tower. And God himself said that these people, that because they were in one accord, whatever they imagined, to do, they would achieve it. And that is the power of imagination. And God had to confuse their language because he knew that they could achieve it. So the first thing is the power of imagination. You don't need to have the material resources, but if you can imagine it, you can achieve it. And when we were able to imagine it, we started seeing it. We started seeing a possibility. The first thing that we saw, I looked at my Amazon and I saw something. They said, due to your performance, you are eligible to get this funding. And I looked at it. Is this thing there before, or is it because what we're imagining? And I saw that. No, I think before I saw that, we started looking for property. Yes, sorry. We started looking for property and we saw a property. And let me just share my screen very quickly. Hey, let's jump. Show you this, the first thing that we saw. When we saw this property, you can see that this property has a crack. Can you see that?
Yeah.
So when we saw this property, we saw it on auction. We call it modern auction. And we saw this property for £190,000. And you are supposed to buy it in cash. We don't have the cash, but we imagine that we'll buy this property. So when we went to view this property, we saw the crack. We saw that, this property had issue. Then I called the agent and I spoke to them that this property, yes, we have viewed this property. We would like to put an offer down. We put an offer down and they accepted the offer. So we put offer of £170,000 down. Wow. So we're able to cut down £20,000 and they accepted the offer. And this is the notification of sale from them. I'm going to show you how we were able to get the property, where you can get auction property. Most of them might be on Rightmove, but you might also see them on I Am Sold, which let me quickly show you. I Am Sold. So you can see them on I Am Sold. I'm going to show you some of the properties that you can see on auction. So we put down the offer, and before they could accept the offer, I just looked at my Amazon and I saw 144,000. I applied to Amazon, and they said they will get back to us on Monday. And Amazon approved the loan on Saturday. I think I applied for the mortgage for the Amazon loan on Thursday or something. They approved the loan on the Saturday, and the money went straight to my account. And that was the power of imagination. And I'm going to share my mistake as well. So bear with us. And when we got the money, they got back to us as well, because one of the reasons why we actually put 170,000 pounds down is this. If you look at I am sold, let me just type this postcode. When you look at I am sold, and this is where you can, it's one of the website you can get auction property. Okay. When you look at I am sold, this is auction property. Let me go to lowest. Okay. It's a bit slow. Okay, so this property, they are selling it for 75,000 pounds. So you could see. So those are auction property. And this one is in Gillingham, Kent, close to London, 30 minutes drive to train to London. So if you see them, see, this is how they market their product. So a 2-bedroom end of terrace, starting bid. So you need to note that. So when they advertise the property we got, they advertised it as a 3-bedroom terrace house, starting bid 190,000. In other words, when you see that, the first thing that comes to your mind is that they cannot, accept anything less than 190,000. So when I put down the offer, I put down the offer by faith. And I put down the offer with this as well, that even if they don't accept it, at least I'm just exercising faith anyway. So I put down 170,000. But lo and behold, on Monday, they accepted the offer. And they said that the first thing is this: when they accept the offer on auction property, let me show you very quickly, you are supposed to put down certain amount of money. And what happened is this: if you put down certain amount of money and you fail to go ahead with the transaction, you will lose
that money.
But yes, so as soon as they accepted it, we put down the money and process started. And this is the property. When we bought the property was not in a good shape. A lot of people, you can see the video, a lot of people, when they see property that are not in good shape, people ignore it. I remember in those days when we go to view property and the kitchen is not good, this is not good, a lot of us will say that it's not a good property. Those are the properties I'm actually looking at, because you have negotiating power. Most of those property, very limited people will want to go for it because they are looking for a house. I'm looking for an investment. And I can tell you from experience, if people had value to property, if they put new kitchen, that, like you can see, look at the property that we're talking about. Look at how it was before and look at how it is. You will see, when they had 5,000 pounds to a property, it can give you value of 20,000 pounds.
Yeah.
Especially if you change the kitchen, the bedroom, and if possible, if you can add one more room to the property.
Yeah.
One more room can give you 20 to 25,000 pounds.
Yeah.
Kitchen can give you like 20,000 pounds. What most people look for in property is the kitchen and the bedroom. And kitchen is so powerful because we know that a lot of people spend time in kitchen. And with respect to our ladies in the house, when they go to property, the first thing they look at is how big is the kitchen, how nice is the kitchen. And this is very key. When we got this property, we spent less than, I think, 3,000 to 4,000 pounds repairing the kitchen, and everything jumped. So look at what we're looking, when we saw this, and this is it. Another key thing is this: when you see property with a crack, it may have a structural problem. If it has a structural problem, it's going to be a big problem. But I will also advise that when you go to view property like this, if it's possible, get a builder. You can request for second viewing. Take your builder there. Let them see if the crack is not structural. If it's not structural, then it's possible. If it's structural, you're gonna spend a lot of money, But if it's not structural, then it's very possible. And those are the possibility. And I just quickly want you to see, the kind of property that we are talking about and the value that the property has got to. Okay, so this is the interesting part. I'm going to stop this now. The interesting part is this. Okay. So we bought this property for 170,000. We got loan from Amazon, like 144,000. We had some, what is it called? Credit card and other things that we put together, and we were able to buy this property. We bought it for 170,000. We paid fee of, let's say, 5 to 6,000 pounds. And we repaired the property, everything, kitchen, everything. I think it's close to 30,000. It's not 30,000 exactly. And I think it's a bit less than 30,000. Let's say 27, 28,000. But I round it up to 30,000 pounds. And that is how we were able to get the property. This is where we are going. And I'm going to show us how we can get property like this. When we got it, we had to renovate the property for like 6 weeks, rented it out in 2 months. So we spent like 2 months renovating, then marketing, and we're able to rent it out. And we're able to rent it out for 1,000. Let me quickly show us. I had to protect the tenant's name. So we're able to rent it out. We bought it in April, and we're able to rent it out in March, in June, for 1,300 pounds. And not until, let me see the dates. We got a mortgage offer on the 29th of March, and we were able to pull out this money. So until 29th of March, this person is paying 1,003. If we do the calculation, we were able to get like rent for like 10 months. I guess for like 10 months, let's say 10 months. And 1,003 times 10 months is 13,000 pounds. So we're able to get 13,000 pounds plus, we're able to get 13,000 pounds. And when we refinance the property, this is the beauty of it. When we refinance the property, no, sorry, before I jump to refinance, when we apply to refinance the property, a valuer went to the property and they valued the property for, I think I will have to show this very quickly. I'll stop here, then I will show this. I think it's in my document. And they valued the property for, okay, this is the first sale. Okay, this is the first one. They valued the property for, can you see? Bumi, can you see?
Yeah, yeah.
How much is that?
250.
They valued the property
250,000 pounds.
for 250,000 pounds. That's the value of the property.
From 170.
And they even value the rent 1,350. Look at it. If you look at the comparable, the same streets, all a bit, some are a bit further. They value this one. See, this one asking price. I know this one. Asking price was 260, and this person sold it for 250, January 2024. This person asking price 250, sold it for 254, September 2023. This person valued 270, sold for 267, September 2023. So they were able to value for 250, but because we are like thinking, we had a bit of, we have some loan that we're servicing, and we still want to like have, the mortgage advisor actually advised that if we can take like less than 70% of the value of the property, that we should be able to get a good mortgage deal at the moment, despite the fact that interest rate is high. And we're able to get this offer. Let me just quickly show you. Although the fee is a bit high, but we're able to get 4.19 interest fixed rates, 4.19 fixed rates. But look at the beauty. Can anybody recall how much we bought the property?
170,000.
Good. Can anybody remind me how much we were able to get for rent within 10 months?
13,000.
1,300.
Thank you.
13,000.
And can anybody tell me how much bank were able to give us, which they have given us on the 29th of March?
160,000.
So if you add 160,000 plus 13,000, that is 173,000. And we bought the property for 170,000. So yes, there are agency fee and all those things. So, but we have taken all the money that we actually use to purchase the property, apart from the ones that we use to renovate. So the only money that is in that property is the ones that we have used to renovate. Now look at the cash flow. Let's jump to the cash flow. So we got this 4.19. Let me jump to the cash flow. 4.19, and we'll be paying every month, we'll be paying £586, 69p to the bank. And the rent is 1,003. We've taken all our money out apart from renovation, and we'll still be getting cash flow. Yes, we have done, we did agency fee is like 8%. Then we did what we call rent guarantee, that even if tenant failed to pay, you know, insurance will pay. So it's guaranteed. So plus or minus on that, that's 3%. We'll still be getting like £500 to £600 cash flow every month after taking almost all your money out. If you calculate the money that we actually use to renovate, in 5 years' time, we'll get the renovation money. Number one, the value of the property is 250. We only borrowed 160,000 plus bank fee, which is 168. We have 80-something thousand in that property at the moment. We've taken all our money out. And that is how you can buy property with, as in, you know, I didn't say that with no money down, but with none of your own money, your own personal money. You can use leverage. You can use other people's money, but it doesn't mean there is no money down. So if you read the capture says that how you can buy property with none of your own money. Because a lot of people believe that I can buy property with no money down. It's possible, but it's hard, you know, and you have to go through lease option and all those things, which I'm not going to talk about today. But what I'm trying to say in essence is this. There are opportunities out there that we can leverage. But look at our mistake. This is the mistake that we made. When we got the fund from Amazon, we had to service the loan. And servicing the loan is not hard because the business, Amazon business is servicing the loan. That's not the challenge. But the challenge is that we leverage our credit card too much. We even spend, we use part of our personal credit card. And because we spend, myself and my wife, I think I used like over 70% of my credit card. She used like 50% of her credit card. Because if credit card has a limit. So when you use more on your credit card, it affects your credit score. So our credit score dropped, and they saw that on our credit report when we applied for mortgage. So the mortgage that we applied for, ideally, when you buy property in cash, you can refinance after 6 months. So when we refinance, I think we did enough. We tried to refinance in November, and they rejected our application because of the loan we owe, and that was the mistake we made. Right now, if I want to advise people, I would say that even when you have access to fund, don't use that fund. There's what we call bridging finance, which I'm going to show us here. Despite the fact that Amazon gave us the money, if I had known, I would have used like £100,000 for my Amazon business.
Yeah.
And use, let's say, 40-something thousand pounds and get bridging finance of 75%. And I'll still be running my business, and I won't touch our personal loan, our personal credits. With that, they won't see any loan when you're applying. Then you would not need to, your business would not need to struggle. Do you understand? Because you are also leveraging other people's money. But we used the whole cash. And next time, because I've learned from that, and I want us to also, just in case you have access to fund. And that's why business people, they don't use all they have the fund, but they will still use bank money.
Yeah.
And that is what I learned from that. And how do we get bridging finance? At the moment, we are working on a bridging finance at the moment. And I'm going to show us how we can get bridging finance. There are several bridging finance companies, but this is the one that I know or I use, and it's called Landlord. And I'm going to quickly type it. I'm not sure if I've opened it. Okay, let me type it very quickly. Landlord. And Landlord is a bridging finance. So if you jump here, you go to bridging finance. You go to bridging finance, Landlord. So it said, what is the purpose of your loan? So you can apply for a bridging finance. What bridging finance is this. If you are buying property on auction, they expect you to close. I think the US people say close. For us, you say complete. They expect you to complete or to exchange contract and complete within, I think within a month. I think within 30 days. But when you are buying on what we call modern auction, they expect you to complete within 56 days, complete or exchange within 56 days. And most mortgages institution will spend like 3 months. I think, yeah, plus or minus 3 months. Sometimes it can be 4 months, 5 months before you could get mortgage. So you may not be able to get mortgage when you are buying auction. So bridging finance is like a middle finance that you can use before you apply for mortgage. For bridging finance, look at it. They say that if you apply, get your term immediately, 3 minutes. And they can give you that money within 5 days. And that's the power of bridging finance. And it says no early redemption charge after 3 months. And that's the power of bridging finance. So what you do when you buy property in cash, or well, that's what they will say, buy property in cash, you can use bridging finance. And bridging finance can give you 75%. One of the reasons why we always talk about having a business is this. We bought a property in 2021. And that was our first company property that we bought in company name. We used our personal money. I paid myself from my business, and we used our personal money to buy the property. So we put the money on the property company. So I paid money from my Amazon business, paid to myself, then I used that money. I put it on property
You own the business.
company. You understand? But when I spoke to my accountant said that I'm going to pay a bit of a higher tax, that I'm going to pay dividends, and it's a bit high. Do you understand? And he said, next time, what you need to do is this. You can borrow money from your business and put it on the other business.
Yeah.
So you can borrow money from a company and put it on your other company. So instead of paying yourself and now borrow money to the other business from yourself, you can borrow that money straight away from the business. It makes life easier for you. And that was what we did on this property that I'm talking about. So when Amazon gave us 144,000, it went to Amazon company. Then that Amazon company borrowed Abel property, for years. So Abel property is going to be paying, the money for years. So this is very, very important. That's why it's very good for you to have structure. Please don't let us say, oh, I don't want to pay tax. I want to do something dodgy. No. The more you are playing, the more you have access to funding. And this is very, very important. So when we did this, we intend to do another one. And this is the plan. I don't want my personal money to be there. I don't want to borrow money from credit card, from my own personal, from my personal credit card, because it's going to show when you are doing refinance, when you are remortgaging. But if you have a business is a separate entity. You can take the money from your business or borrow the money from your business and put it on the other property business. When the mortgage company or your solicitor, if they are looking at your source of fund, you can show them that your other business borrowed the other business, or your other company borrowed the other company certain amount of money. My accountant even gave me a letter that this money was borrowed by my other company and is not going to affect my other company, and we are going to pay it for certain period of time. It's a long-term loan. When you do that, it makes life easier for you. So if you register it, so you can see that everything comes together.
Yeah.
Run Amazon business, there is benefits. Run YouTube business, benefits. Because where we are going is actually how we can use those cash flow that we are getting from our other business, our contract business, and how we can use those cash flow to build an asset on our property business. So next time, if I'm doing this, what I would do is this. I would take money from my Amazon business or my day-to-day business, borrow my property business.
Yeah.
So get my 25% from my day-to-day business, borrow my property business 25%. Then I will come to bridging finance and apply for bridging finance, apply for 75% bridging finance. And they are going to give me 75%. And I've got my 25% from my other business. When I buy the property in cash, do it up, they revalue the property. When they revalue the property and I'm refinancing the property, I have the opportunity to refinance the property and get 75% back, pay my bridging finance, and owe the rest of the money to my pocket, or pay my business and I still have extras. So like the scenario we gave, if you buy a property of 170,000, it's valued for 250. Assuming we want to actually get 75%, we would have got 187,500. And we would have paid, it's like we have taken all the money, even very close to the one that we used to renovate. And we can pay bridging finance, let's say they said they are 75%, with ease. And with that, you have property with like next to none of your own money. And this is, I'm doing some application presently. They've sent, they are even waiting for me. They are waiting for me. Let me see if I can open the application here. Okay, so they've approved this application and they are waiting for me to move forward. I applied for a property. I think the property is like, I can't remember. I think £295,000. And they have approved this. And look at it. You might be thinking, oh, the rate is too high. They are getting 1.5% in a month, which is a bit higher than mortgage. But this property that I'm talking about is going for 295,000. They have approved this. And if you look at this, you might be thinking the total loan is too much. But look at it this way. If you buy with mortgage, in 12 months, you're still going to be paying mortgage. So the difference is like 10,000 or 12,000 pounds with this application. The property is 295. The property, the reason why it's going for 295, although at the moment I've negotiated it to 270,000 pounds. We're still waiting for them to come back to us. If they accept it, the property is valued 345,000. The reason why they are selling it for that price is because the property is on EPCF. And if a property is on EPCF in the UK, you cannot rent it out. And the reason why it's on EPCF, when I went to view the property, I just told them that this property will not pass EPC because the EPC was not out. But because of my experience, the property does not have central heating. You know, and if a property does not have central heating, there's no way it would get to that high EPC. I told them, and they said that they just did the EPC and it will come out. And when the EPC came out, it was half. So because of that, they cannot. No, if you I spoke to my broker and they said, sorry, you won't be able to get mortgage for EPCF, except the person that is selling it can get an exemption. And I learned from her, they can also get an exemption. But if they can't get an exemption, you need to buy in cash. And because of that, I said, okay, if they can get this property for 270, so we are still waiting for that. If they accept it for 270, from my own calculation, if you spend 20,000 pounds on the property, the property will be okay. And that will be 290,000. And the value of the property in that area is 345,000 pounds. And the rent, because when I went to view it, I saw a tenant, a Nigerian lady that was the neighbor. And when I spoke to her, she said that they are presently the property is renting out for 1,800. When I did the calculation on mortgage, you are going to be paying 800 and something pounds on mortgage, and you are getting 1,800 pounds. You know, and that is the power of bridging finance, auction, and that is what I intend to show us today. And before I give opportunity for question, where can we get auction property? You can go to Rightmove itself and you can type, when you type Rightmove, you can just type, let's say DA1. Then you can go to property type. Okay, it's blocking me. Okay, let's say house. Jump here. Okay, let's see. You go to filter. You can choose if you want auction property alone. You can click auction property, and this is it. So you can click that, and it shows you. Yeah. So, okay. Is it that the property is okay? That's by the way. So you can check it from there, or you can go to what we call I am sold. I am sold as well. It's a good one. And there's another one called First Auction. Let me type it. First for auction. You know, this is also another way of looking for property that are not good. You know, that same area that we bought the property that we just refinanced, I think there's another property there that I'm actually working on. And let me just show you this property. Okay, so this is the property I'm actually working on again, hopefully, and the power of coming together as well. You know, for some of us, we might not want to take the risk alone. There are opportunities out there if we also want to come together. you know. So this property is 160 and it's like 175 guide price. And this is another great opportunity, because the reason why they are selling it for this price is because of, if you click their, what is it called? Let me see if I can. Okay, I need to log. If you click their legal pack, it has a bit of fire and the what do we call it? Basement. So if you look at this picture, I think they had like fire issue in the basement, just the basement alone, and they actually put the reason there, and that's why they are selling it for that amount of money. And if you look at it as well, the rent is going for 1,003. I know the area is the same area that we bought this. So if you're able to get it for like 180, the only thing you can do with this property is basement. If you look at the plan is a big property, so it's another massive opportunity. So those are the ways that you can actually look for auction property. There is also auction house. So a lot of auction property out there. So if you don't want to go to auction office or to a particular physical area, you can look for the ones that you can do online. I think I've spoken a lot. I think I'll just stop here.